So you see, Your Honor, that this whole thing has been an unfortunate misunderstanding.
That's right. Oh, and taking a shite everywhere were a sign of friendship or something.
Is this the standard excuse you're taught to use? I was hoping to at least hear a new one this time around.
This time? What do you mean this time?
We've already had dealings with your kind before. It didn't work then, and it won't work now.
Hold on a minute, you what?
This is outrageous! Astrosian, I've told you that I'm innocent. Why do you doubt the word of a diplomatic envoy? My people shall hear of your shameful behavior.
You need to calm yourself, my friend, or you're going to do another oops on the floor.
His name is Francois! Le Ouf!
So much for a new background.
Screw the new background. I want to know why the other version of me had such a better voice than I do.
Hold on, that were a flashback, you're not supposed to hear it.
I don't care. I want a better voice. I've been robbed.
If you're that bothered by it, I'll just switch it.
How the hell are you going to switch it?
I'll use the button.
The what?
The button on the back of your head, the one that says Psycho Voice.
Are you telling me there's been a button on the back of my head this whole time?
Well, yeah. I assumed you knew about it. It's literally on your head.
God damn it. I could have switched it ages ago.
And it'll be handy if you do, too, as the guy who makes these says YouTube's been content flagging his videos and he has to appeal all of them. Been going on for a couple of months, but it didn't happen on the season summary. Did a test on the last video and tracked it down to something in these end credits, meaning it's probably your voice.
Wait. Was the whole thing with the French dogs just to change my voice?
Actually, he'd written all of that before he found out, so this is genuinely just an happy coincidence that fits in with Space Dog canon.
Okay, enough with the fourth wall nonsense. I want a new voice. Push the button.
Alright then, let's see if this really is a voice button or if it's plugged into the kill switch Janeway secretly installed.
The what switch?
Nothing. Woof. Alright then, lad, give that a go.
Give what a go? Oh my god, I've got a new voice.
Hey, that's not bad, is it? Oh, and I've set up the button on the back of your head to take voice input.
Where did you get the parts to do that?
Same place as the Monopoly board. What do you think then? Does it feel like you?
It'll take some getting used to. I think I just need to hear myself for a while and it'll be less weird than it is now.
Fair enough. Why don't we talk about getting out of here, two birds and all that?
We could just wait until we've served our sentences?
Well, how long will that take?
For me? Next week. For you? About 8 years.
Wait, why am I getting 8 years?
You bit that guy right on the cock, remember?
That were a stress response.
It was certainly stressful for the guy whose dick you bit. Woof.
8 years. I probably don't even have 8 years left.
Why do you say that? You're not a dog. You're a space dog. Maybe this species lives for 1,000 years.
Look, we'll deal with that if I'm still around in 8 years' time, and the guy who writes these has to think of an excuse. But for now, can we assume that 8 years is a long time for me?
I don't know why you're panicking. We both know you won't still be in here by the end of the season, if only because people are getting bored of the background.
Ungrateful dickheads. He had to Photoshop Bashir off the wall of this, you know.
I'm not sure arguing in favor of the holding cells is really the best plan here.
Fair point. How am I supposed to get out, though?
Have you tried apologizing to the guy whose love mushroom you bit? He could put in a good word.
Oddly enough, that's not a conversation I've been relishing.
Then you need to decide what matters more, an awkward apology, or years of incarceration.
Bugger me. Woof. And it is with the most earnest honesty that I express my deepest regrets for the penis/dental incident that occurred in the... No, that's too formal. So, you know that time I bit your cock? No, that's too pally. This poem's to say that I was wrong when I put my teeth in your dong. Oh, this is bloody hopeless.
8 years.
Yes, thank you, that's really helpful. If you want to be a use, think of something that rhymes with gusset salami.
You're not writing a get well card. This needs to be convincing.
Alright, fine. Okay, convincing. I can do this. I can do this. Dear Nibble Dick.
8 long, lonely years.
Alright. Woof. Well, what do you think?
It's certainly better than your previous attempts.
I can smell a butt coming. And yes, that was a dog joke.
Does it really need to be 23 pages long?
Well, I tried shortening it, but the editor said the new draft lacked essential context.
All I'm saying is maybe 10 pages about how the prophets will never forgive him if he can't forgive others might be laying it on a little thick.
I'm worried about his religious well-being. That actually makes me better than him when you think about it.
And that whole chapter on how it's affected you psychologically.
Sympathy vote, mate. Trust me, these humanoids are all about it.
It's supposed to be an apology letter. Do you really need the 3-page assessment on what it tasted like?
Oh, come on, that's one of the best bits.
And you realize this whole thing doesn't feature the words sorry or apologize at all. Like, not once, in the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's implied in every syllable.
You know how you were worried you were never getting out of here and I said you were wrong?
Yeah?
I may have underestimated certain variables. Woof. I told you not to get your hopes up.
Miserable git. It were an accident. It's not like I wanted to take a chomp on his dangus, is it?
Come on, buddy. We expected this result.
I spent ages writing that letter. Had to get Odo to tape a pen onto me paw. You'd think the effort would count for something.
To be fair, you didn't really need the illustrations.
Art is supposed to soothe the savage beast.
I'm pretty sure that's music.
Oh. You don't think it...
We are not going to write a song about you biting his dick.
All right, it were just a thought. Woof. I was so far from home, a stranger here, looking for a friendly face, but finding only bare metal walls. Standing there so alone, feeling queer. An avalanche of stomping boots comes running at us from down the hall. You came from out of nowhere, soldiers filled the dock. I was so scared and I'm sorry I bit your cock. I just couldn't find the words, so afraid. Surrounded by guys with guns all shouting at me aggressively. One slipped over on me turds, and there he stayed. That's when the shooting starts, with me in the eye of a cacophony. What were you expecting? Or are you just thick? Even though it's your fault, I'm sorry I bit your dick. If violence you yearn, then soon it is your turn. It was your time to learn that it is not cool to be cruel, so I bit your tool. You're the one who was aggressive. What you did was wrong. You got what you deserve, but I'm sorry I bit your dong.
I can't believe that worked.
I told you, stick your words to a tune and most people don't care what it says as long as they can tap their feet to it. It's like a kind of hypnosis.
And now we have something we can do for money if we need to.
Yeah, well, maybe we shouldn't get the viewers expecting them on the reg, eh? That was loads more effort than two dogs just talking bollocks, and this whole thing was only ever supposed to be an excuse for the credits.
Fair point.
So, what are we going to do now we're out?
I don't know about you, but I want to know who the hell those other dogs were.
I told you before, they were in a flashback. We weren't even supposed to hear them.
Well, it's done now, and we need a new plot device now that we're out of prison.
All right, fine, I guess we're doing this then. Woof.
I think the smartest thing to do would be to ask Odo what he knows about these other dogs. If they were locked up, he'll have data.
He's not just going to hand it out though, is he? That's against the rules or something.
What's wrong with your voice?
Nothing.
No, your voice is... You know what? I don't care. Anyway, we'll say we're related or something.
That's not gonna work. We don't look anything like him. See? Completely different.
How did you... Whatever. Okay then, we'll just break in and steal the data ourselves.
Break in.
Yes.
To the security office.
Yes.
Of someone who can hide in plain sight.
Yes.
Yeah, alright then. Sounds like a laugh. Woof.
Are you sure you're up for this?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really? Because you still sound a little dodgy.
I'm a dog. Any voice at all's frankly a miracle.
Well, if you're sure.
Just get on with it.
Okay, so I broke into the security office.
When did you do that?
In between visiting hours at the hospital.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I found the file for the other dogs. Apparently they're called Astrochien and Ordinator.
So French for space, dog and computer. Well, that can't be coincidence.
They came here on a shuttle too, one that couldn't be found, and said something about time travel.
Any idea where the shuttle came from?
Well, that's the interesting part. They said they came from a ship called Voyager.
How's this even possible? They say they're from the same ship as us, but we've never met them before.
I'm not sure. I've checked back over my records.
Your what?
My records, you know, my logs, from when I was the computer in Voyager.
Hold on. You still have all the logs and stuff from back then stored in your head?
Yes, but only when the plot needs me to.
Oh, how very Star Trek.
Anyway, I didn't find any reference to Astrochien or Ordinator during my time on Voyager. I guess it could have happened after I ended up in this body. But that feels like the sort of thing people would talk about.
Well, they're news to me, and I made it my business to keep up with all rumours on ship.
Why?
Blackmail.
Oh, fair enough. So what do we do now?
Figure out how they could be on the same ship without us ever meeting them. There's gotta be something.
That's going to be difficult, as Voyager doesn't even get launched for another year.
We could check on crew, I guess. What's Janeway up to right now?
I'm not sure. Let's bring up her file.
Who the bloody hell's that?
That, my friend, is apparently Janeway.
That is not Catherine Janeway.
Actually, you're right. That's Nicole.
Who the bloody hell's Nicole?
Nicole Janeway is Catherine Janeway before Catherine Janeway existed.
Alright, back up. What you on about?
When they were first filming Voyager, the person who got the job was Genevieve Bujold.
Oh, we're doing fourth wall shit again then, are we?
I guess so. Anywho, Bujold didn't really work out, so she got switched for Kate Mulgrew, and Nicole Janeway became Catherine.
So why is this Janeway still the old one?
My guess? When we did time stuff, we must have jumped realities. This is the universe where Genevieve Bujold wasn't bloody awful.
So Astrochien and Ordinator
aren't just similar, they're us.
Oh, woof. What else is different then?
You mean in this reality?
Aye, what's happened in the Bujold timeline that didn't happen in the Mulgrew timeline and vice versa?
Figuring that out's going to be a bit of a pisser, not least of which because all the stuff we've done hasn't happened yet.
You know, maybe it's smarter for us to just get on a ship and go somewhere else. Less chance of buggering anything up.
Probably, but that'll mean having to get different backgrounds for these scenes from somewhere else, so he's not going to do it.
Right, fine. We're just gonna have to get through the next 5.5 seasons without bumping into French versions of ourselves.
French-Canadian.
Eh?
Genevieve Bujold is French-Canadian, so it makes sense for the versions of her dogs to be French-Canadian too.
Oh, that makes sense now then. You know, what with me having an American accent like Kate Mulgrew.
Exactly. It all fits perfectly and nobody needs to ask any questions about it. In fact, I don't think we need to raise this topic ever again. Woof. I've had a little look around, and, beside the things we already know, I can't see much that doesn't fit with what I had programmed into me as the computer on Voyager. Maybe the changes are entirely limited to Voyager-related things.
Well, that's not very likely, is it? It's the sort of thing an act writer had come up with if they wanted to tell new stories in an old setting without impact an established canon. It's just one step down from setting everything 800 years in future so you can make something different while keeping name.
I'm not saying there aren't any differences. I'm saying nothing I've seen is at odds with the logs that I may or may not have in other credit skits going forward.
Look, I think we can all agree that memory issues are to be expected when you stick a computer in a dog's skull, and nobody could reasonably expect 100% accuracy under the circumstances. Anyway, that's enough of that bollocks. Where shall we go first?
How about Shay Quark?
Yeah, that sounds perfectly normal. Woof. Are you sure everything's normal here?
As far as I can tell. Why do you ask?
I was just wondering why Quark were wearing a string of onions.
Who knows? He's probably trying to sell them.
Fair enough, that checks out.
You need to stop looking for problems. All the bad stuff on Voyager has made you paranoid.
Alright, let's take me mind off it and go somewhere else perfectly normal.
Okay, let me see here. We could try Le Restaurant Klingon?
Le Restaurant Klingon? Yeah, that sounds right to me. Woof.
I promise you that there's nothing different. It's all absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just can't remember a time when me gach has been served with a side dish of potato dauphinoise.
You're getting paranoid again. Calm down and think it through.
It's just, I can't get it out my head now. It feels like there's something not quite right and I can't put my finger on it. Well, claw, you know, 'cause I'm a dog. Anyway, I'm sure it'll come to me eventually.
I swear to you I've checked the history database, and everything's completely normal throughout the entire Fédération des Planètes Unies. Low woof.
Have we got a plan?
I beg your pardon?
For these end bits, have we got a plan for what we're going to do with them?
I thought we were just going to make French references for a few more videos.
No, I've had enough of that. And we want to try and stay clear of Astro, Chien and Ordinateur because of timeline buggery, so we need a new gimmick for these credit scenes.
Why's that our job? We don't write these. How does the guy in charge of the channel usually come up with them?
Honestly, he don't really. It's either something that just falls into place, usually a lot more smoothly than it should do based on the lack of planning if we're being completely honest, or he just starts writing and sees where it goes.
Are you shitting me? You're saying we've been running on fumes for a year and a half?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, how's that working out for him?
To be blunt, not great. We'll have to go on a quest to find the quest to go on. Oh, actually, that's not bad.
No, absolutely not. You don't get to claim that was intentional.
Yes, it was. That's totally where we were going with it all along, and he didn't just pull it out of his arse right at end. Triumphant wolf. The Quest to Find the Quest, Chapter 1. Identify Potential Quests.
We're really doing this then?
Yep.
Christ on a penny farthing. Alright, I suppose we've got nothing better to do. How do we find our options?
Oh, I thought you might have ideas for that.
Sigh, of course you did.
Look, I'm the talent. You can't expect me to do scripts as well.
Fine. We can either go on a grand tour of the station and ask people,
Which you'll never do, because it'll be too many backgrounds.
or we could set up an advert to bring quests to us, perhaps on a readily available screen near to where we are now.
What a remarkable example of forethought, and definitely not an Andy coincidence.
You know, he really doesn't deserve for these things to line up as well as they do.
Yeah, but don't let the viewers know that or they'll stop paying him. They still think this shit is deliberate. Woof. Roll up. Space Dog and Computer are now offering an adventuring service.
All tasks considered, no job too large or too small. Well, okay, some jobs too large, we're dogs.
Excuse me there, sir. Do you happen to have a quest that you need complete? Well, there's no need for that now, is there?
Very reasonable rates. We can fit our services to your budget.
Have you considered how much easier your life would be if... Yeah, and the same to you, mate.
Discretion guaranteed for any and all clients. You wouldn't believe the secrets we're already holding. Seriously though, people want us dead.
Oi, dickhead, give us a job. Woof. Had any decent offers?
There was a guy who wanted us to move a load of sauce.
Sounds easy enough. When do we start?
We don't. He was only willing to pay us in self-sealing stem bolts.
What kind of dickhead would accept that as payment?
The only other job I heard about was exterminating voles, but, frankly, they scare the piss out of me.
Fair enough.
What about you?
A lass in a way that wanted us to blow up a school, but I don't fancy making things go bang on a space station. Feels like the sort of thing that hasn't really been thought through.
Nothing else?
Well, there was one more, but we're not doing that.
Well, hold on. What was the job?
Look, I don't want to go into it. Suffice to say that Morn is a dirty little bastard. Woof.
Space Dog, I've got us a job.
One that pays actual money?
Yup.
And it's not from Morn.
Nope.
Alright, I'm listening.
We've been hired to help make a travel guide. Deep Space Nine is a hub of commerce and exploration, but so many people who come here don't know what to expect or how it works.
Sounds like an actually useful thing. No wonder Starfleet didn't think of it till now.
Oh, we're not being employed by Starfleet or the Bajorans. In fact, we're not even making the brochure. All we have to do is gather as much data as we can about how the station works, and send it back to our employer.
That's even easier. Who are they?
A little book company called Dominion Publishing.
Brilliant. Everybody's going to be so pleased when they find out how much we've helped them. Woof. This travel brochure we've been hired to research, what do they need exactly?
It's pretty comprehensive. They want to know about all the features and attractions here, restaurants and the like. They're particularly interested in whether we have a swimming pool and, if so, how many people would fit into it if they took out the water.
Bit of a weird question.
Maybe they like foam parties or something.
Okay, that makes sense. Anything else we need to get for them?
Well, there's a bit here about defensive capabilities. They want to know how well armed and shielded the station is.
They're just trying to make sure any visitors here will be well protected. Nice of them, really, when you think about it.
What considerate organizers. I'm sure they have good reasons for wanting Cisco's command codes too.
Well, you know what Cisco's like. Any adventure around here and he's the one leading the charge. They'll just be wanting to make sure the next in line can take over quickly if anything goes wrong.
This is an entirely reasonable conclusion, and certainly no cause for concern. Providing this data to complete strangers will definitely not create any issues in the future. Woof.
Right then, O'Brien says we don't have a swimming pool, but there are containers in the ore processing plants that could do the job. You know, if you're willing to not think about all the people who carked it down there.
Good job. Maybe we'll leave the last bit out though. We don't want to scare off our first punter.
Fair point, mate. We'll just say the station has significant historical value and leave it at that. Any luck learning about the weapons?
I've got Quark working on it at the moment. It's behind Starfleet locks, so it shouldn't take him long.
I assume there's a good reason why you need to do that instead of using your own data. You know, what with you previously being the computer of a Starfleet ship and one that docked here to boot.
Absolutely correct. There is indeed an excellent reason.
Not gonna share it then?
I don't think that's necessary for plot advancement.
So yourself? Woof.
I got word back from Quark about the defensive capabilities of the station. He said they've got poopers, farters, and a few hundred fireworks.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
No idea, but he sounded confident, so we're putting it in the report.
You know what, I don't care. This was supposed to be a simple job and I've had a right time trying to get Cisco's command codes. Bugger threatened to put me in the box, whatever that is.
Forget it then. We'll have to just send what we've got now and hope it's enough.
Any word from Dominion Publishing on when this brochure's going to be available?
Nothing definite, but they told me we should expect to see something special from them any day now.
Sounds promising. I hope we get proper credit for all the things we told them. I want everyone to know how much of this was down to us. Woof. Computer?
Space Dog?
Did we at least get paid?
Did we bollocks?
Woof.